Now, let me tell you what happened about last night, right? So I see a profile picture that's pretty good. Now, in general, I know you guys are going to laugh at me, but I am just don't find Thai women, even though I live in Thailand, as attractive as other women. In America, I dated black women, but it is what it is. I'm here, in Thailand for more than just women. This is the best country for me, regardless of that. So I see this girl. I would say she's about a 7 in my book, but I know for other foreigners, she's probably 8.5 or so, right? So, but I also see that her pictures are pretty appropriate and she doesn't have any tattoos. So now when I message girls who are just regular girls, 6 or 7s or whatever, I usually say, hey, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Just something, nice and polite. But with really good looking women, I always try to start with something that no other men start, right? Because you have to set yourself aside. So you kind of challenge them right away. So in this case, I said, oh, so you don't have any tattoos at all? Right? So right away she's like, no, why? Now I got to tell you, women used to actually appreciate this. Just like, oh, someone's challenging me. There's actually some men with some masculine energy, not a simp, right? Nowadays, they don't even fucking know what it is. They go like, whoa, what the fuck? You started without giving me a million compliments and offering to pay for my coffee today? Like, I don't even understand what's happening, right? So even here in Thailand, it's changing. Now, I do have to say that this woman, I ended up realizing, speaks pretty good English. So, which is a red flag for me. Women who speak English here are essentially the same as American women. They're a little bit more polite, and of course, you spend less money on drinks for them. But for a long-term relationship, it's a no-go. But I didn't realize it at that time, and also I decided to run this experiment all the way to the end because I knew I would get a really good story out of it. So she said no. I said, well, it's kind of rare for women to not have tattoos. And she's like, well, why are you asking? So she got a little defensive. I smoothed it out. So I started talking a little bit, but I said, hey, listen. Oh, she said, do you have Instagram? I'm like, yeah, but here we use WhatsApp and Line. Line is the app that every Thai girl has. She's like, well, my Line, I don't really use it as much. I have so many promotions and spam. I was like, okay, all right, fine, I'll play. So I was like, here, I'll find you on Instagram. Found her on Instagram, got access. Nothing but bikini pictures. Nothing like slutty, but a lot of bikini pictures. And I was like, hey, listen, I thought you told me you're looking for a relationship, but your profile looks like, you're just trying to get a male following to maybe make money out of it. She's like, oh, well, if that's what you think, that's very negative of you. I said, listen, I'm just trying to get to know you, but I look at your profile. It's nothing but, you're pretty much, naked. I said, well, she said, my boyfriend took these pictures, before we broke up. I was like, oh God, no, she dated a simp. Okay. I said, was your boyfriend a foreigner? She's like, yes. I'm like, fuck yeah. These motherfuckers. These guys come here and fucking ruin this women immediately by simping, right? Just immediately by simping. And I was like, all right, okay, now I'll play, right? If that's the only thing, I can always tell her, listen, if you want to date me seriously, you're going to have to remove those pictures. You won't be taking any more of these, right? Because again, they weren't like super slutty, right? They were just kind of like, hey, I had a nice day at the beach and here I am afterwards, not like look at my boobs, and there's a Ferrari behind me. I was like, all right, okay, all right, we'll deal with it later, right? So I said, hey, why don't, and I always do this. I said, why don't we continue this conversation, tomorrow over coffee? And she goes like, well, I have a day off tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to feel this way, blah, blah, blah. I said, I was like, listen, let me just officially invite you and you can say yes or no. So I said, how about we'll grab coffee at this coffee shop at this time tomorrow? And she already asked me where I lived because it doesn't matter which neighborhood you live here. So, she replies with a voice message. And by the way, by then I actually spoke a little bit of Thai to her and showed her my Thai channel where I speak Thai in my videos. So she knows I'm not, one of those foreigners who come here, get a holiday girlfriend and bail, right? That I'm here. I love the culture. I appreciate the culture. I speak a little bit of Thai, right? That's very rare. Just so you guys know, it is very rare. So, so I already established I already set myself aside from like 99% of foreigners, right? So at this point, she should want to go out on a date with me. And she goes like, see, this is what I hate about men. They always want to meet where it's convenient to them. I said, okay, I understand your point, but I have to tell you that a lot of women here don't show up to dates at all or run so late that I just leave. So I just not going to, get somewhere just to be stood up. And on top of that, I'm sorry. If you want to date a guy who has any value, we are busy. We're busy men. We have businesses, we have friends, we travel, we have events to attend to, and so forth and so forth. We're busy men. If you want to date a man like me, you're going to have to come to me. I'm sorry. Right? Now, you would think at this point, the girl, and a lot of them do say, okay, yeah, no, I understand, And she said, no, I don't think we're a good match. Best of luck to you, right? And I said, all good, right? Now, let's break this down. And this goes to the sort of what we're talking about with this video with this girl, right? So women who are good looking, or at least looked at as good looking by men, just get fucking ruined by these fucking simps who will simp for them no matter where in the world the girl is, right? So this girl, when I gave her some masculine energy and challenged her in my first message, like women used to, didn't even really understand what's happening. On top of that, she's really that spoiled that she doesn't even understand. Like, I broke it down to her. I said, listen, you want to date a man who's got some value? Yeah, the guy's going to be busy, right? You would think that would appeal to her, the natural selection type of an argument. No, I like when guys simps for me, right? That's essentially her answer, right? I'd rather have a simp. That's where we're at, gentlemen. Women who are very good looking would rather have a simp because they don't even know what this masculinity is. Right? They don't understand the value. They don't understand that a man who simps essentially is a loser, because if the guy has all this time in the world, who wants to meet a girl so badly that he's willing to waste all of this time on what we know is a losing cause most of the time, right? You either, out of your money for free dinner, or the girl doesn't show up. You have to sit like a bitch for an hour to wait for her as she's running late, running other errands, all of these things. So these women who are 8 and 9 time, they don't even understand masculinity. They do not understand the real value of a man anymore, right? They just understand compliments, simping, and money. So honestly, in my case, I rarely do this because a lot of times these women also end up to be actual hookers. So, but here it is, yet another proof. And I am in Thailand. One of the last places on earth where you still have decent, submissive, traditional, family-oriented women, okay? In America, you guys have no fucking choice whatsoever. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life.